everyone, it's your girl Celia. What's going on? All right, so today I am going to give a book review. So if you haven't already, make sure you guys like, comment, and subscribe. All right. This is actually the first book of the year that I read, and let me tell you, it was worth the wait, because I waited for the book to actually get published, and when I found out about it, ordered it, waited for it to come. It took, I think, about 2 weeks for it to show up. And when I did, when I received it, guys, I started reading. Okay. Who doesn't read once they get their book, right? Anyways, so the book that I read starting this year is called Deliverance Through Knowledge. Okay, this is the book. All right, this is the book. This is my girl Stephanie. All right, Stephanie, let me tell you, this book here, I think, is an awesome book. We'll get through it in a minute. Let me just talk about, this book here. When it comes to like movies and books, I like to listen to things that were based on experience, what people have gone through, because it makes it more realistic, because someone already went through it, right? And you know that, of course, it is possible. Like true crimes and all that stuff like that, you know what I'm saying? Because you know that happened for real. You know it can happen. It is very possible. Even when you think it would rarely happen, it will happen regardless, right? This book is based on her life experience. It is actually a book on witchcraft, I'm gonna say. Now, mind you, I said I would prefer to read, and I will only read books that's going to help me on my spiritual journey, to learn and gain knowledge that's going to help me in life, especially when it comes to spiritual, you know what I'm saying, in the spiritual realm, things that are happening, things that do happen, all of that stuff, right? So I would rather be alert and gain knowledge on things that's going to help me on my spiritual journey with God, okay? And with her book, it actually opened my eyes to witchcraft. Now, some people might believe, oh, I don't believe in witchcraft. You should. You know why? Because witchcraft can actually hurt you, and you may not even know it. Sometimes you could be going through stuff, don't know why you're going through it, because someone hated you, someone wanted harm for your life, and there could be different situations that you may go through that could result from that, okay? And it could be a specific person or people, even friends and family can do this to you, okay? Me, myself, have experienced some things. When I was younger, I really didn't believe too much in it, because I was more of like, if I don't believe it, if I don't see it, I don't believe it, right? I had to see it. And, I've heard stories in my family where they witness certain things and stuff. And, when you're a little bit younger, you're thinking, oh, that's a story, that can't really happen, but then it's like, you kind of get that fear, like, oh, but what if, you know what I'm saying? So it's a real thing. It's a real thing. So being at a younger age, I knew about it. I knew it was bad. But let me tell you, when witchcraft happens, you don't see it. It just happens to you. You don't know who's doing it. Meaning, you wouldn't even know the person that's doing it is even a witch or a warlock, which is a male witch, okay? You would not know, you would not suspect it or anything like that unless someone tells you, okay? Or God leading you, and he exposes who the person is that's doing it to you, okay? So yes, I have believed in witchcraft. I knew it was there. I just didn't know how hardcore it can get. And it could get as hardcore as to you being unalive. Okay? Because there are people that are out there that literally and purposely try to harm people's lives, okay? Not even knowing that they are doing something very evil. And of course, God does not like that. Witchcraft has been around for centuries before you and I were even born, okay? And I mean, it's in the Bible, okay? Magic, witchcraft, all of that, that's bad. Tarot cards, bad. Crystals, bad. Anything that has to deal with any of that, okay, is bad. Sage is bad, okay? I might get a lot of backlash on this, but you know what? If you do your research and you're a child of God, okay, you would see that it comes from the evil realm, the devil, okay? So learning this, I have, gotten knowledge on what witchcraft actually is and how harmful it is, what it can do to a person, do in situations. I've learned all about it to gain the knowledge, to be alert and be able to have my spiritual eyes open, my spiritual ears open, and having angels fight for me in the spiritual realm when it comes to anything like that, okay? So I want to get into this, and I'm going to read the back of it. Claim your purpose, your destiny, and your peace. The first step of your journey starts here. Through prophetic, spiritual insight, the author's personal experiences, and actionable steps, you can fortify your life from malicious individuals, okay? People who are evil. Whether you're facing spiritual warfare or black magic, this book offers you everything you need to break free and live the life you were meant for. If you want to learn the symptoms of mystical afflictions, recognize when you're facing black magic or spiritual warfare, learn practical strategies to come back and overcome mystical afflictions, start your journey toward healing, then you need to read this book. You deserve peace and life lived with divine purpose, okay? Embrace the call to move closer to God and allow Him to grant you divine strength, wisdom to breathe free of the prison of witchcraft and warfare. This is your time, and let's get started. So I got started with it. This book, it was some things up in here, let me tell you, okay? Things in here. Now, I know I've gone through experiences, never knew why certain things were happening. Certain people were in my life, and then all of a sudden, drifted away, or I cut them off, and stuff like that. I never understood. This is my real beginning of walking with the Lord. Never understood it until when I was able to. And when I did, I did. Okay. So with this book, it made me understand further. Okay. She has a lot of chapters in here. Some of them are long. I think the ones where she shared her personal experience was long, and it was very heavy. I'm going to let you know that right now. This book is very heavy. It took me some time. I think it took me a whole week to read one chapter. And it was her experience in 2016, I think it was, of what she had went through. She experienced a lot in that year, and she couldn't understand why. And when she fully gave herself to the Lord, separated herself from doing certain things and stuff like that, God was opening up her eyes to a lot of exposure of who was doing it to her, who was involved, as far as all this black magic that was going on in her life. Okay, so this is basically giving people a heads up and letting them know, if you ever experience this, these are symptoms. She literally gives symptoms in here when you are afflicted by black magic. When somebody is afflicting you with that, there's certain symptoms that you will be experiencing, and you may not even understand why you're experiencing that at that time or off and on, right? So she has different symptoms. There's other things in here as far as like how to soothe it, get rid of it. She shares her experiences here. She also talks about different spirits that people try to cast on you. She does talk about different spirits that are alive and well, roaming this earth, that do go into people, okay, that causes chaos in your life. All right, grab the book, okay, you will learn a lot. But yes, okay, some chapters are long. The ones that she goes through in her experience is more lengthier than some of the other ones that she goes through. But I did want to read a little bit of the inserts here. Okay, so I do have my page. I want to read that, you know, it's something that I had to experience. I didn't understand, but God revealed to me a little bit later on why it was happening. So when you start working with the Lord, and like I said, you start to unlearn things that are not of God, right? It could be things that we grew up on, that was in our environment, stuff like that, right? Even people who were not even meant to be in our lives. Some people are meant to be in our lives for a season and they're gone, right? God removes them. That could even include friends and family, okay? Just letting you know, sometimes you have family members that are devious and do things to purposely hurt you, not even knowing, you know what I'm saying? Like how much of an impact that's going to cause on your life, right? Same thing with friends, right? It has happened to me. I didn't understand why, but this brought a whole lot of light to me, okay? And I'm going to read it to you. I'm going to read a passage here that brought a lot of light to me that I had to mark down, okay? All right, so it says, when God pulls you away, he will help you unlearn the unclean things that kept you stagnant, okay? That kept you, you know, just doing the same thing all the time, routine, that were really not good. It just keeps you from really not doing anything, like procrastination, you know, just not to better your life. You know what I'm saying? Stagnant. Then it says, whether it be generational curses, patterns, etc., and he will ensure that you relearn new things through him. I had to do that. And it was hard. It was hard. But the moment you start getting that into routine, the clean things of the Lord, it starts becoming a routine, a good routine that's going to help you push forward, keep going. It's going to bring you peace. It's going to bring you joy. You know, and you will be doing stuff, right? Okay, so once you start being obedient and detach yourself from everyone, you avoid being manipulated, okay, gaslight, all right, and controlled. And then you start to see even more clearly than ever. Oh my gosh. I could relate to that, okay? Because once I wasn't around all the people I used to be around, I started seeing a whole lot clearly. I felt like maybe they were a distraction to what the real thing was, right? Or being forced to do anything or anything like that, being told what to do, when in reality, God needed me to do something else, right? You then start to receive revelations as to who is attacking you. I've experienced that. Who is involved? I experienced that. And what has been done to you. When the angel of God told Lot's life not to look back. This is in the Bible. This is in Genesis 19:17. I'm going to get into that scripture because she does have it written down here. I'm going to get into that. So in the Bible, the story of Lot and his wife, right? When God told them to leave Sodom and Gomorrah, and then she turned into a pillar of salt. This is what we're getting into as an example, okay? When the angel of God told Lot's wife not to look back, and she was disobedient, she turned into a pillar of salt. The angel gave Lot and his wife clear instructions from God. Genesis 19:17. As soon as they had brought them out, one of them said, "Flee for your lives. Don't look back." This is the angel. "And don't stop anywhere in the plain. Flee to the mountains or you will be swept away." So what she did was she looked back. They had clear instructions to keep running and keep going towards the mountains. Don't look back. Don't see what's going on. Just go. His wife looked back. She was gone. She turned into a pillar of salt, got swept away. Lot made it out with his kids, and they made it out safely to where they were supposed to be at, where God instructed them to be. Okay? So, let's get back into it. When you are a victim of black magic, and God is going to call judgment upon your family and your bloodline, you, the one who decided to change, the one who decided to break free from all the generational curses, break free from any unclean things, you're relearning your life, you're on your journey with Jesus Christ, you gave your salvation to him, you want to do things right, be righteous, and be holy, right? This is what happens. You being the chosen, the anointed child of God, you will be given instructions to leave everyone behind. Okay, you may not understand, you may not want to, because sometimes you're gonna fight it to keep being in these people's lives, right? But the more you keep being obedient, the more you'll drift away. Okay, or sometimes they'll drift away on their own. All right, he's gonna give you clear instructions to leave everyone behind, connected or involved. Okay, not only will God tell you to leave, but he will hide you once you leave. I've gone through that. Okay, he will tell you not to speak to anyone connected, anyone that you connected yourself from, friends, family, whoever that he told you to disconnect from. He's not going to allow you to speak to anyone connected and tell them where you live. Okay, don't make yourself accessible in plain sight, and to not look back, meaning go back to your past. Okay, don't be like Lot's wife and look back. Okay, you keep moving forward, because that's what God wants us to do, is to move forward in life. Okay, meaning go back to your past, to those who wanted you blocked, afflicted, or unalived. Okay, because like I said, there are people, and like I said, it can be even friends and family. You might think they could be putting on a mask for you, and you might think that they are doing what's best for you and this and that, but it could be for their own good, for their own selfish reasons. Sometimes they could be telling you one thing and it's leading you astray into something else. Okay, it could be different things. All right, and God will reveal it to you. He has to me. He has, exposed people who have done me wrong, what their intentions were, why they did it. And I have gone through a situation, and it was confirmed back to me a year later through someone else. And I was like, I already knew, because they were like, well, how did you know? I was like, I already knew. Well, how? God. But through God showed me. He let me know. He didn't let me know at the time when it happened. I figured it could be this person. Okay, I just didn't know how it actually went in order. A year later, it was confirmed, and I actually had it the opposite way. And I'm like, ooh, okay, God. Like, I was on the right track. I was aligned with his will. I was obedient. I listened, because had I known at that time, it would have went left. Okay, it would have went left, to the left. You know what I'm saying? And it would not have been good. Okay, the way I felt at that time, I was not in the right mindset. And if I knew the information I knew a year later or a year and a half later, that would have been it. That would have been it. But she explains so much in this book. Like I said, 1 week I had off for work, and it took me a whole week to read one chapter, one of the chapters, and it was on her experience. And I emailed her. I reached out to her, and I emailed her, and I asked, told her I was going to do a book review on it. And she said, yeah, cool. And I told her it took me a while to read one chapter. She said, believe me, I know. She goes, it's going to be heavy. Take your time. And I did. It took me a month to read this book. It could have been shorter, but the way it was, there was times where I was getting upset. She shares her experience because it's actually her own mother that has done black magic on her. Shocking, right? And that's why it's just like, what? Family can do that, okay? So she's speaking out on her own experience, on what she went through, on what her mom had put her through, and probably what she's still doing to this day, okay? I don't know, it got me upset. I ain't even gonna lie. Let me tell you, it got me upset. All right. There was one point in the book where it said she started her own business, right? And she was living with her mom at the time. And I guess she was using the downstairs basement, to do everything that she needed to do for her business and stuff. Her mom kicked her out because she was starting her own business. I said, hold up. I'm an entrepreneur myself. Let someone tell me or kick me out of somewhere because I'm trying to do something that's going to better my life, especially to make income. And, she has kids as well. So it's like she's doing something that she's trying to do to provide not only for herself, but for her children. And it's like, what? That got me. I was like, if I was my old self, man, let me tell you. I'm sorry, Stephanie, but girl. This book was intense, okay? Let me give my reaction on this book. This book is very intense. If you want to know all about this stuff through someone's experience, what they had to go through, how they had to fight, how they had to find ways to cure themselves out of what they were going through intentionally, because if she went to the doctors and they told her everything was fine with her, then you already know. And spiritually, there's something that's going on. Someone's trying to not physically, but spiritually hurt you, where it's going to start coming out physically. You know what I'm saying? So when you are an anointed child of God, meaning you're walking with the Lord, you're serving Him, you're walking with Jesus, okay? You're gonna go through things, a lot of things spiritually. That's why we need to be in the Bible. That's why we need to pray. That's why we need to anoint our houses, our family, okay? And stay committed to God always, because you never know who is out there. Even the closest people that are the closest to us, you would not have ever thought can even hurt us. Pick up this book because it's intense. You got to take some time to, you know what I'm saying? Because there's going to be some parts in there that's going to get you upset or get you hyped, like, what? I'm saying, but it's a learning experience that she went through, and she's using that to help others like me and you. Okay, that's why this book is called Deliverance Through Knowledge. And I'm telling you right now, you're gonna gain knowledge from this book when it comes to black magic and witchcraft and witches and all of that stuff. Okay, you're gonna discover things in your life that you never thought. If you go back into your past, as far as like in your childhood, how things started, who you were around, how you grew up and stuff, you're gonna start remembering things. And it's like, hold on, God is gonna start exposing things in your life that you didn't understand. Okay, so it brought a whole lot of light into my life and made me understand a little bit more as well. So pick this book up today. Let me bring it up to you. This is called Deliverance Through Knowledge. Okay, this book, as far as star rating, which is what, 5 stars? I give her 5 stars on this. There's a lot of pros. Like, she gets specific on so much, and especially when it comes from life experiences, it makes it even more like, okay, I gotta prepare myself. I gotta really get serious on my walk, because there's a lot more in the spiritual that can happen. Okay, and we have to, as children of God, prepare ourselves, make sure our hearts are clean, make sure our minds are clear, in order for us to understand and gain the knowledge that God has out there. And he uses other children of God to be able to present that, so it can help you on your walk. Okay, so this book here, I give it a 5 stars. The only con, which is not even a major con, but the only con about this book is she does got some punctuation errors or missing words. But other than that, like, I understand where she's coming from. Other than that, the book is okay. You want to see my bookmark? And from my heart, I'm speaking to you, Stephanie. If you can see this video, this book should be a movie. This book should be a movie. Like, you got the popcorn. I ain't even gonna lie. This book is so interesting. And this is the first time I actually got to use this bookmark. Okay, I got it at my kid's school fair like a few years ago and stuff, but I was actually use it for this book, which was pretty cool. Not even knowing how this book was gonna go. Girl, this book should become a movie. So you went to school for performing arts and all that stuff, like film and all that. Girl, go into the process of putting this into a movie. I would love to see it. I would fully support it, because my stars on this, 5 stars. Okay, you put it into a movie, what is it, the Rotten Tomatoes, you get 10. Okay. Because that's how good this book is. And I could just imagine if you were to put this into a movie, it would be awesome. It would be awesome. So just train of thought, maybe, but yes, guys, pick this book up today. I'll link in the description box her website where you can order the book and read it for yourself. It's awesome, and it will literally come on time. I literally waited for this book to come out. I didn't want to get no other book until when I got this one to read for the start of 2025. And 2025, for book review, this is the book to go. Deliverance Through Knowledge. She is also a YouTuber, so you can also make sure you subscribe to her channel. She gives out messages and motivational words of encouragement, and she is awesome. Okay, this is my sister in Christ. This is my friend in Christ. So it's family. She's family. So yeah, support her, and you'll learn a lot from her, especially through her own experience. So if one person went through it, you already know other people have gone through it as well. You may have experienced it too. So yes, guys, that is my book review. I hope you guys go out, get her book, subscribe to her channel, check out her website. She is an awesome person, very awesome and very sweet. Okay, so until next time, I do have another book that I wanted to start reading. I just didn't want to read it until when I was done with this review. So I'm off to the next book. All right, so I'll see you guys in the next video, and peace out.